Every journey of growth starts the same way: quiet, hidden, unseen. Long before fruit appears, something is happening underground. Roots are forming, seeds are breaking open. Life is taking shape where no one can see it. Rooted, it's more than a series. It's a journey of recovery, faith, and transformation. It's about what God grows in you. So He can grow something through you, through me. Because real change doesn't start with what people see. It starts with what God is doing in the hidden places. Let me welcome you to Studio RC, an encouragement for your recovery and your faith. My name is Max, and I am an alcoholic, and I'm sober today only by the grace of God and the fellowship of the program. I am also a follower of Jesus. We're going to enter this new series, Rooted, and it'll get us ready for our upcoming conference. The first phase of our podcast will talk about the foundation. In phase one, we go underground, the foundation. This is where the unseen work is done. We ask questions like, who am I really rooted in? Where does my hope begin? Am I willing to surrender before I see results? Rooted matters. Seeds of hope matter. Germination, where commitment begins, matters. This is where faith is planted. This is where recovery becomes real. Real recovery starts where no one sees it. And that brings us to phase two of breakthrough. In phase two, growth becomes visible. That's where breakthrough begins. We learn what it means to be supported, to grow in faith, to strengthen what's been planted, breaking through the soil, strengthening the roots, pulling the weeds when necessary, because growth requires pruning, truth, protection. And this is where healing becomes real and faith becomes strong enough to hold what God is growing. And that leads us to our final phase of maturity. This is where, in phase three, maturity takes shape. This is where purpose multiplies. This is where our lives become, they start to intersect. This is where fruit is visible. This is where we're able to weather the storm, bear fruit, plant new seeds. Because rooted people don't keep growth to themselves. They give it away. They mentor. They sponsor. They serve. They plant hope in others. This journey leads us to something bigger. It's not just a conference, a community, a movement, a gathering of people who are growing to live rooted. The Rooted Conference is where we will come together at the Recovery Church Movement Conference in Bradenton in the last weekend in March of 2026. We're going to attempt over these next weeks not only to prepare, but to strengthen our roots, to celebrate our growth, to acknowledge what season we are in. And so we're going to learn how to stay planted, stay connected, and stay rooted. We welcome you to Rooted, a journey of recovery that's going to prepare you for the conference, the upcoming conference. And just know, whether you attend the conference or not, this might be a good time to go check and try to get what remaining availability and tickets to the conference that you can. But just know we're rooting for you. And this leads us in to this week's episode. Hello and welcome to episode 2, The Seed of Hope. Episode 1, we talked about the importance of roots and that you have roots before you ever have any results. The depth of our roots matter more than just appearance. Now we move back even further. Before roots, there's a seed. And so that seed, the seed that is planted matters. The roots matter. The depth matters. But the seed matters. Small beginnings, fragile hope. Most of our recovery began just that way. We didn't have great confidence. We maybe had hope. I will tell you, just coming to a meeting indicates that you have at least enough hope to think, maybe this could work. Maybe my life could be different. Even if you don't believe in the program, you just showing up indicates maybe my life can be different. That shows hope. Whereas in some of our addiction, we didn't care. We didn't care how it ended. We didn't care if, as we left the bar, if we got home or wrapped ourselves around a tree. It was our hope that we get home, but we didn't care. Or we didn't care if we got really high or if we OD'd. That's a lack of hope. Showing up to a meeting, showing up at Recovery Church says, this could be different. Maybe my life could be different. That shows hope. Even if it hasn't manifested, even if it hasn't taken root, that is the seed of hope. Sometimes we think our hope is too small to count. And so, we're sometimes discouraged or, we see other folks and how well they're doing and we're like, I'll never get there. Just know, God, He specializes in small beginnings. That's God's MO. So let's dive into the seed of hope. We are taught about a mustard seed faith. Listen to this scripture today from Matthew. Jesus replied, because you have so little faith, truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, really tiny, tiny seed. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to here, from here to there, and it'll move. Nothing will be impossible for you. The ultimate underdog promise. The Bible is full of underdog stories that you didn't think the person had a chance of having success. And then Jesus showed up and things changed. Now, why does he choose a mustard seed? Well, I think it's obvious. It's so small. It's very ordinary. A mustard seed's ordinary, easily dismissed. Yet, it's unstoppable once it's planted. Jesus didn't choose like a cedar or a harvest, a full-grown tree. He chose potential. Faith is not emotional certainty. Faith is not confidence. Faith is direction, not size. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, that direction. Because faith is not about how much you feel. It's about what you're willing to plant. Now, for us, I'll talk for me. Maybe I'll speak for some of you as well. But as an addict and an alcoholic, I'm a feeler. I want to feel things. I want to numb things. I want to control that. I want to make it, more extreme. I'm all about feelings. And what I have learned about feelings are real, but they're not always true, and they make a horrible master. If all I ever do is what I feel like doing or don't feel like doing, or like all of that feeling stuff, that's not what faith is about. It's about what we're willing to plant, those seeds of hope, those mustard seeds of hope. A big faith talks, seed faith acts. You don't want to talk a big game and not have any action to, be all hat and what is it? All hat and no cattle or something like that. My friends from who understand the cattle, I'm messing that reference up. But I don't want to be all talk and no action. Seed faith acts. Even if it's a little step at a time, it acts. Jesus emphasizes what faith becomes, not how it starts. He doesn't go, oh, you started out as a mustard seed. You only had a mustard seed of faith. No, he talks about the incredible things because of your faith, where it started in that little seed of hope. And as it grew and expanded, what God can do through our faith, what our faith becomes, not our beginnings. That's good news for addicts and alcoholics. He doesn't say, look at your bottom. That defines you. No, it's just the beginning point. It's where we put that seed of hope in at the bottom. And then it grows. The big book tells us the spiritual life, it's not a theory. We have to live it. We can't just be thinking about it. We can't just be having, these conversations. Conversations can help, but we have to live it out. When we carry the message, it's about putting hands and feet to the message that we're carrying. In recovery, inspiration without action usually becomes frustration. I'll say that again. For us in recovery, inspiration, getting all fired up without any action usually becomes frustration. It's the difference between knowing the truth and practicing the truth. Hearing hope versus living hope. Attending meetings versus embodying change. We hear meeting makers make it. It's only partially true. I mean, it's good to be around people. It's good to hear the program. But the people who make it are the people who do it. It's not meeting makers make it. Step doers make it. But being at a meeting is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. But it's just showing up at the meeting. You don't get credit. Showing up late, leaving early, not standing for the Lord's Prayer, or not talking to anyone. I went to a meeting. That's not really embodying change. And hope that stays theoretical will never grow roots. We have to practice it. I mean, most people don't relapse because they stop believing in the program or even necessarily believing that they're an addict or an alcoholic. They relapse because they stop practicing the things that helped get them sober or clean. They stop going to meetings. They stop talking to people. They stop helping. They stop doing the steps. They stop doing 11-step prayer and meditation. They stop practicing the things that helped get them sober. I think back to when I had hope that this program, these 12 steps, combined with my faith that I could stay sober. I share this from time to time, but I come from a family of recovery. My dad, he's 91, bless his heart. He's about to have his another birthday next month, and he's 46 years sober. My sister on Valentine's Day just celebrated her 37th year of recovery. Could be 38, 37, 38, somewhere in there. So when I got here, they were already sober. So I knew it could work. I just didn't know if it would work for me. I was going to meetings, and initially my dad gave me some room, but I went to a lot of meetings with my dad, which I really appreciate and enjoyed that immensely. Um, but I didn't know when. I didn't. Is this program going to work for me? When do I take ownership? It was after I did my fifth step. After I did my fifth step, and I shared everything that I'd written in the fourth step, I was pretty confident. I think I'm going to stay sober. And this is my program. I'm not riding coattails for my sister or my dad. Like it was after the fifth step. It was a turning point that I'm like, it's my program. I'm taking full responsibility. I'm not just waiting for my dad to take me to a meeting. Like I'll see if he's going, but I'm still going even if he's not. And I'm taking the lead in that. Because I had seen it work. I just didn't know if it would work for me. But that hope was there. And hope moved from an idea to an experience when I did the steps. Now, when hope comes in, it doesn't arrive fully formed, fully germinated. It's a seed. It's a seed of hope that flowers and blooms, but it arrives fragile. It needs the right conditions. It needs water and sunlight and all the things that help the seed grow. I mean, I've seen people walk in with nothing but a sliver of hope. But that sliver saved their lives. That hope grew. They came in, maybe this will work, to it's working. And it just, what a beautiful picture. I think back to my first meeting that I went to. And this is where my father kind of put me into the beginners meeting, and there were multiple meetings, so he went to a different meeting so that I could feel free. And I didn't hear a lot that was said that meeting. I think a lot of people sounded more like Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, 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 wah. It was like a foreign language. And I remember at the end of the meeting, the guy said, "Hey, would you like to share?" I said, "Sure." I said, "My name is Max. I may have a problem with alcohol." Which is really funny because like 2 weeks earlier, I was like doing keg stands going, "I'm an alcoholic." But, once I got to the meetings, I was like, "Oh, well, we'll see. We'll see," But there was something there. When I said, I remember saying in my first share, I said, I never doubted I'd be an AA. I was 19 years old. I just thought it would be when I was older, like 30. And everyone in the room laughed. And I knew they were laughing with me, not at me. And I felt an instant connection. I felt like I belonged, and I felt hope. So that's that seed, being planted, that seed taking root. Now, when we're talking about seeds, and that's the starting point, seeds need protection. Seeds need the right soil, the environment, relationships. They need water, spiritual input, and encouragement. They need protection. They need boundaries and distance from toxic influences. So the first thing a seed needs is the right soil, the right environment. The people in our lives matter, which is especially why in early recovery we talk about people, places, and things, because they matter and they're important. Proximity matters. Proximity to the program, proximity to people who are sober. We talk about if you stay in the middle of the herd, you won't get picked off. That's about proximity. Because like if we leave the herd, we can get picked off. That on the savannah, as we're talking about that, example of not being part of the herd. It's all like if we get away from the herd, we're one-on-one with a predator. And for us, that's alcohol or drugs. But when we stay in the middle of the herd, We're protected. We're bouncing off other people. We're telling people. We're living life with people. Proximity matters. And what kills a seed? Isolation. You don't grow hope alone. We need other people. We need the example of other people. We need the words of other people. We also need water. And for us, water in recovery is input. We need meetings, prayer, scripture, honest conversations, sometimes hard conversations. I was told that I will have many rude awakenings before I ever have a spiritual awakening. And that was certainly the case for me. Water's consistent, not dramatic, but consistent. And then we need protection, some boundaries in our lives, distance from our toxic influences, especially in early sobriety. We need to protect. I always tell someone, if you're nervous about drinking or drugging in early recovery, run. Just run. Just get out of wherever you're at. Just get away. Do whatever you have. Just get out of the situation. Now, that's a short-term solution. We'll work on a long-term solution, but you got to guard it early on. It's delicate. It's fragile. We have to limit discouraging voices. You'll never get sober. Who do you think you are? Environment shapes growth more than any motivation, more than any bumper sticker. We want that environment to be one of encouragement. And I have to tell you, in recovery, I've not found one much more encouraging than a room full of recovered addicts and alcoholics. We want the others to succeed. Let me ask you to look inward and internalize this. Let me ask you this question. Where did your hope begin? Has it begun? But if you have hope today, where did it begin? How did it begin? What's watering your hope right now? What's the thing that's influencing, pouring in to you, that's helping you to have a hope and vision, encouragement? And conversely, what's choking it out? What's the thing that's making it hard to have hope? Maybe acts as a discouragement to you. Maybe just have this simple prayer: God, help me protect what you have planted. Help me to steward it. Help me to truly honor what you have given me. Now, one of the things that we want to do is, when we're in these early stages, we want to expose any lies, anything that is the opposite of our hope. I've tried everything. I'm too far gone. Nothing works for me. I always loved that if I went into the church, it would fall down on my head or I'd be struck by lightning. None of which is true. But those aren't conclusions. That's more fatigue speaking. That's lack of hope speaking. That's pessimism speaking, not the hope that comes from the Lord. Hopelessness is not realism. I always love my pessimists. My pessimists will say, I'm just a realist. I know whenever anyone tells me they're a realist, they're probably a pessimist. Hopelessness is not realism. It looks more like resignation. Choosing hope is spiritual defiance. Faith sometimes looks like refusing to quit, not feeling confident and doing it anyways. Hopelessness can be a root issue because we believe those lies that we've told ourselves, but use it as hope, as that spiritual defiance. Choosing hope as an act of faith. I don't know how my life looks right now, but I am hoping that God is going to do something. God will be in my life and do something greater. It creates momentum. It creates this future focus. As we progress, we have roots that have come from a seed. We have seeds, we have seed roots that have been germinated, and that germination goes to commitment. And commitment is that next critical phase. And as we prepare for the upcoming conference, that our conference, the Recovery Church Movement Conference, will be a milestone. It's not a finish line. It's just something along the way. And so commitment comes before the visible results. I'm going to commit to going to meetings. I'm going to commit to doing the steps. I'm going to commit to reading my Bible. I do all those things, and then the result happens after the commitment. Use the conference this year as one of those milestones of commitment, for a marker, a stake in the ground. Not the finish line, but I'm going to attend the conference. I'm going to meet other people. I'm going to allow that to bring a freshness to my recovery. And that sets us up for next week, episode 3. What happens when nothing seems to be happening? We'll take a look at that. Just know, small hope is enough. God grows what you plant. And seeds, they grow quietly, not instantly. Protect your seed this week. Hold on to your seed, protect it, plant it, and we're rooting for you. And we're going to see you next week for episode 3. Studio RC family, thank you for walking this rooted journey with us today. What God is growing in you matters, and it is meant to last. Whether you're just getting started or you've been walking this road for years, remember, growth happens one day at a time. Keep showing up. Keep staying connected. Keep letting God do his deep work in you and through you. If this episode encouraged you, helped you, or just gave you some hope, we'd love for you to help spread the word of Studio RC. Like the video, share it with someone who could use the encouragement, subscribe so you don't ever miss an episode. We want to continue to increase our footprint, not just for views, but so that we can encourage and help people in their recovery and their faith. You never know how God might use a simple share or even like to plant a seed of hope in someone else. And if you're looking for deeper connection, we'd love to see you at the Rooted Conference, the Recovery Church Movement Rooted Conference in March 27th, 28th, 29th in Bradenton, Florida at the Christian Retreat Conference Center. It's going to be a place to strengthen your roots, to celebrate your growth, to walk this journey together. We'd love to see you there, and we'd love to continue this journey together. So just remember, Recovery Church, 12 steps, one goal. And with this series, remember, stay planted, stay connected, stay rooted, and know that we are rooting for you. God bless, and we'll see you next time here at Studio RC.